since the beginning of the Islamic message and its spread in the world. Part 5. We continue to narrate a stage in the life of the rightly guided Caliph Abu Bakr Al Siddiq. Ridda Wars. Troubles emerged soon after Abu Bakr's succession, with several Arab tribes launching revolts, threatening the unity and stability of the new community and state. These insurgencies and the Caliphate's responses to them are collectively referred to as the Ridda Wars, Wars of Apostasy. The opposition movements came in two forms. One type challenged the political power of the nascent Caliphate as well as the religious authority of Islam with the acclamation of rival ideologies, headed by political leaders who claimed the mantle of prophethood in the manner that Muhammad had done. These rebellions include that of the Banu Asad ibn Khuzaymah headed by Tulayya ibn Khuwaylid, that of the Banu Hanifa headed by Musaylima. Those from among the Banu Taglib and the Bani Tamim headed by Sajah. That of the Al-Ansi headed by Al-Aswad al-Ansi. These leaders are all denounced in Islamic histories as false prophets. The second form of opposition movement was more strictly political in character. Some of the revolts of this type took the form of tax rebellions in Najd among tribes such as the Banu Fazara and Banu Tamim. Other dissenters, while initially allied to the Muslims, used Muhammad's death as an opportunity to attempt to restrict the growth of the new Islamic state. They include some of the Rabia in Bahrain, the Azd in Oman, as well as among the Kinda and Qalan in Yemen. Abu Bakr, likely understanding that maintaining firm control over the disparate tribes of Arabia was crucial to ensuring the survival of the state, suppressed the insurrections with military force. He dispatched Khalid ibn Walid and a body of troops to subdue the uprisings in Najd as well as that of Musaylima, who posed the most serious threat. Concurrent to this, Shirabil ibn Hassana and al-Ala al-Hadrami were sent to Bahrain, while Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, Hudhayfa al-Bariki and Arfaja al-Bariki were instructed to conquer Oman. Finally, al-Muhajir ibn Abi Umayyah and Khalid ibn Asid were sent to Yemen to aid the local governor in re-establishing control. Abu Bakr also made use of diplomatic means in addition to military measures. Like Muhammad before him, he used marriage alliances and financial incentives to bind former enemies to the caliphate. For instance, a member of the Banu Hanifa who had sided with the Muslims was rewarded with the granting of a land estate. Similarly, a Kinda rebel named al-Ashith ibn Qays, after repenting and rejoining Islam, was later given land in Medina as well as the hand of Abu Bakr's sister Farwa in marriage. At their heart, the Ridda movements were challenges to the political and religious supremacy of the Islamic State. Through his success in suppressing the insurrections, Abu Bakr had in effect continued the political consolidation which had begun under Muhammad's leadership with relatively little interruption. By war's end, he had established an Islamic hegemony over the entirety of the Arabian Peninsula. Expeditions into Persia and Syria, with Arabia having united under a single centralized state with a formidable military, the region could now be viewed as a potential threat to the neighboring Byzantine and Sasanian empires. It may be that Abu Bakr, reasoning that it was inevitable that one of these powers would launch a preemptive strike against the youthful caliphate, decided that it was better to deliver the first blow himself. Regardless of the caliph's motivations, in 633, small forces were dispatched into Iraq and Palestine, capturing several towns. Though the Byzantines and Sasanians were certain to retaliate, Abu Bakr had reason to be confident. The two empires were militarily exhausted after centuries of war against each other, making it likely that any forces sent to Arabia would be diminished and weakened. A more pressing advantage, though, was the effectiveness of the Muslim fighters as well as their zeal, the latter of which was partially based on their certainty of the righteousness of their cause. Additionally, the general belief among the Muslims was that the community must be defended at all costs. It was certainly good policy to turn the recently subdued tribes of the wilderness towards an external aim in which they might at once satisfy their lust for booty on a grand scale, maintain their warlike feeling, and strengthen themselves in their attachment to the new faith. Had started these initial conflicts which eventually resulted in the Islamic conquests of Persia and the Levant, he did not live to see those regions conquered by Islam, instead leaving the task to his successors. Preservation of the Quran. Abu Bakr was instrumental in preserving the Quran in written form. It is said that after the hard-won victory over Musaylima in the Battle of Yamama in 632, Umar saw that some 500 of the Muslims who had memorized the Quran had been killed in wars. Fearing that it might become lost or corrupted, Umar requested that Abu Bakr authorize the compilation and preservation of the scriptures in written format. The Caliph was initially hesitant, being quoted as saying, "How can we do that which the Messenger of Allah, may Allah bless and keep him, did not himself do?" He eventually relented, however, and appointed Zayd ibn Thabit, who had previously served as one of the scribes of Muhammad, for the task of gathering the scattered verses. The fragments were recovered from every quarter, including from the ribs of palm branches, scraps of leather, stone tablets, and from the hearts of men. The collected work was transcribed onto sheets and verified through comparison with Quran memorizers. The finished codex, termed the Musahaf, was presented to Abu Bakr, who prior to his death, bequeathed it to his successor Umar. Upon Umar's own death, the Musahaf was left to his daughter Hafsa, who had been one of the wives of Muhammad. It was this volume, borrowed from Hafsa, which formed the basis of Uthman's legendary prototype, which became the definitive text of the Quran. All later editions are derived from this original. Death. On the 23rd of August 634, Abu Bakr fell sick and did not recover. He developed a high fever and was confined to bed. His illness was prolonged, and when his condition worsened, he felt that his end was near. Realizing this, he sent for Ali and requested him to perform his ghusl since Ali had also done it for Muhammad. Abu Bakr felt that he should nominate his successor so that the issue should not be a cause of dissension among the Muslims after his death, though there was already controversy over Ali not having been appointed. He appointed Umar for this role after discussing the matter with some companions. Some of them favored the nomination and others disliked it, due to the tough nature of Umar. Abu Bakr thus dictated his last testament to Uthman ibn Affan as follows: "In the name of most merciful God." This is the last will and testament of Abu Bakr bin Abu Quhafa, when he is in the last hour of the world, and the first of the next, an hour in which the infidel must believe, the wicked be convinced of their evil ways. I nominate Umar ibn al-Khattab as my successor. Therefore, hear to him and obey him. If he acts right, confirm his actions. My intentions are good, but I cannot see the future results. However, those who do ill shall render themselves liable to severe account hereafter. Fare you well. May you be ever attended by the divine favor of blessing. Umar led the funeral prayer for him and he was buried beside the grave of Muhammad. Appearance. The historian Al-Tabari, in regards to Abu Bakr's appearance, records the following interaction between Aisha and her paternal nephew, Abd Allah ibn Abd al-Rahman ibn Abi Bakr. When she was in her howdah and saw a man from among the Arabs passing by, she said, "I have not seen a man more like Abu Bakr than this one." We said to her, "Describe Abu Bakr." She said, "A slight, white man, thin-bearded and bowed. His waist wrapper would not hold but would fall down around his loins. He had a lean face, sunken eyes, a bulging forehead, and trembling knuckles." Referencing another source, Al-Tabari further describes him as being white mixed with yellowness, of good build, slight, bowed, thin, tall like a male palm tree, hook-nosed, lean-faced, sunken-eyed, thin-shanked, and strong-thighed. He used to dye himself with henna and black dye. Assessment and legacy. Though the period of his caliphate covers only 2 years, 2 months and 15 days, it included successful invasions of the two most powerful empires of the time, the Sassanid Empire and Byzantine Empire. He is known as Al Siddiq, Atiq and companion of the cave. Abu Bakr had the distinction of being the first caliph in the history of Islam and also the first caliph to nominate a successor. He was the only caliph in the history of Islam who refunded to the state treasury at the time of his death the entire amount of the allowance that he had drawn during the period of his caliphate. He has the distinction of purchasing the land for Al-Masjid al-Nabawi. Sunni view. Sunni Muslim tradition considers Abu Bakr the best men after the prophets in Sunni Islam. They also consider Abu Bakr as one of the 10 promised paradise, al-Ashara al-Mubashshara, whom Muhammad had testified were destined for paradise. He is regarded as the successor of Allah's Messenger, Khalifa Rasulullah, and first of the rightly guided caliphs, i.e. Rashidun, and as the rightful successor to Muhammad. Abu Bakr had always been the closest friend and confidant of Muhammad throughout his life, being beside Muhammad at every major event. It was Abu Bakr's wisdom that Muhammad always honored. Abu Bakr is regarded among the best of Muhammad's followers. As Umar ibn al-Khattab stated, if the faith of Abu Bakr was weighed against the faith of the people of the earth, the faith of Abu Bakr would outweigh the others. I stop at this point today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world's incredible stories. Thank you for watching.